Have you ever spent hours replying a conversation? Not because you regretted what you did, not because that you regret it at all, but because they misunderstood you. And why does it bother us so much? I don't think we always want people to agree with us. I think we desperately want them to understand us. And there is a difference. Like, I can accept the fact that you are disagreeing with me on a specific topic or in a conversation, but it's hard for me to understand that I'm a bad person in your head now. I'm a bad person while my intention wasn't bad at all. It really disturbs us. It's looked like you meant something that was actually good. It was positive, but people understand that specific thing in their own way, and they somehow flipped it to be negative, and now they think badly about you, and they have these negative image of you in their head, and it feels like they didn't know the real you, but you didn't even mean something bad. And I have my own experiences with this, and it's always sounds so silly once I actually explain to that person. For example, when I was a teenager, I have this weird tension with this girl. It was so funny, but both of us know that that friendship is not going to stay. So both of us know that there's no friend. We are not friends anymore. But there was like this weird tension between us. So one day I saw her. But the thing is, I saw her, but I couldn't recognize her because of her nose contour. It's going to sound so silly, but I swear this is it. So I was like looking, I'm going to put the reaction. You know that little girl reaction, the blonde child? I was looking like this, and it gave the impression of me being disgusted, but I didn't mean it. My brows were frown. So I was just trying to recognize you because I feel somehow that I know you, but I can't get the image. The image isn't clicking because of the nose contour, you guys. I know that she didn't know that much about makeup before, and I don't mean anything bad. Bless her. I hope she become the best makeup artist, but I don't know, she did something to her nose, and it didn't I didn't even recognize her. So I was like looking at her to the level that she felt it. She felt my eyes. she felt like the tension from far away. I was looking at her because I'm trying to recognize you. But once I explained it, I am the silly one, and I'm the one who's lying now. It's so silly and so funny at the same time, but this is the actual truth. I didn't recognize you. I was trying to recognize you because I felt like I know you, but the nose contour make it hard for me to recognize you because you look like a different person now. I don't mean anything bad, bless her. I hope she become like the greatest makeup artist of all time. And there is another situation that's funny too, and she ended up screaming at me because that's no way what my true intentions look like from her own perspective. There was I was a friend with this girl. Oh my god. And she was a friend with someone, and they have like a weird tension between them. So she asked me for advice. We were friends before. She asked me for advice, and I gave her. So I didn't like the fact that she's falling back to something that does not serve her anymore. And that's where I meant good intentions. And I told her that. So to basically, I don't like the fact that she's falling back in a relationship that does not serve her anymore, and I gave her that advice, but she didn't accept it. So she became friend again with that same girl that she asked me about her in the first place, and I gave her this advice, and I didn't mean anything that day. She have like a weird, like a fabric on her head. She's like, her hair is short. It's like a bob. Her hair is black and like it's a bob style, and she was speaking to someone, and she had like a black fabric on her head, and I was trying to recognize her, and I know her, but the fabric mixed so well with the hair to the level that it looks like she has a long hair now. So I was like trying to come like, did you have extension, or your hair all of a sudden got longer? So I was trying to focus, and it's the same meme of that child, the blonde child. I'm going to put it again. And she looked at me, she sneered at me, and I didn't mean anything bad. I just trying to, make an inference of what's going on. Do you have a long hair now? And when I explained this, she screamed at me because no way, that's what I actually meant. And that's the point. You know your real intentions, but somehow it can bother you. But in this situation, it does bother me, especially once I explained it, because they were shocked, because ain't no way that what did you meant. You definitely meant something more negative. You definitely meant something horrible. They didn't accept that. So the point is, it bothers us and stays in our heads and we think about it many times, because the brain isn't trying to protect the relationship itself. Your brain is trying to protect your identity. Every person has an image about themselves in their head. My image, I believe I'm kind, and I believe I'm loyal. And when someone understands that image in a way that contradicts it, the brain will feel like the identity itself has been threatened, and that wasn't just a situation. That's an example for sure. So the brain is trying to protect the identity, because when someone understands a different intention or a different meaning of something you have done, the brain think about it like an emergency situation, because the identity now has been threatened, and it was not a situation. It's now a threat. The brain is making basically a big deal out of it, even though if it can be just like one small silly moment. And that's why sometimes after a situation that we were misunderstood in, we go and write that long message and erase it and rewrite it again, and imagining the conversation 20, 30, or even many times. Not because the problem is huge, because we want to get our image back in the other person's mind. It feels like it's so silly, because once I understand this, it's so silly to me, because we have a specific identity about ourselves in our mind, but we want other people to have the same identity about us in their heads, which does not make sense at all. But the thing that we have to accept is that our intentions belong to us. What comes after it does not. What do I mean by this? People interpretations belong to them. We are only responsible of our intentions, not people interpretations. Why? Let's say you explained to that person once, twice, but this person insists on believing the image that they created in your head, that they created in their head about you. And they insist on believing the interpretation that they created in their head about you. The problem here is not about you nor your explanation. The problem is about them not understanding, because they believe the story in their head that they have created about you because it protects their ego. Even if you didn't mean anything bad, they created like an image about you in their heads, and it protects their ego. It really contributes to that, because even if the truth and all the evidence are in front of them, some people just don't want to believe it. They don't want to. Might as well leaving them have fun with it. I swear to God, I explained to that girl that I didn't mean anything bad. I was just trying. In my previous example, I was just trying to do you have a long hair now? I was just trying to figure it out. Once I explained it, she screamed at me because ain't no way this is what you actually meant. You definitely mean something bad. And it's not my problem that she didn't get my explanation. She don't want to understand. And you have to think like this as well. And the mindset shift here is that being understood is a gift, not a requirement for peace. Imagine explaining yourself perfectly for that person, but they didn't believe it, or they still misunderstood it or doubt it. Would you keep explaining yourself forever? And if your answer is yes, you're not looking for understanding here. You want to control how they think about you, and it's impossible. And it's a form of people pleasing. And people pleasing is actually just slavery in another word. Why do you want to control how they think about you? And I believe that peace begins the moment we realize that not everyone will understand our hearts, and they don't have to. That's not going to make us less or even make us more at all, because we don't use people to like measure our worth at all. You just have to make sure that you acted in a way you can understand yourself. Because I believe that there is a pleasure of people not really understanding you and not really getting you. There is always like a hidden pleasure on that. And people, even if all of the evidence were in front of them, people somehow will still believe that story that they created in their heads about you, because it kind of satisfies them and it feeds their ego. They already create this identity about you, and all of a sudden you're speaking about it and you're contradicting this identity. They're not going to believe it if they don't like you, for sure. They're not going to believe it at all, because they convince themselves that you are a bad person in their heads. So what's the point? Might as well letting them have fun with it. Thanks for watching.